Hi, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to my page. Okay, I'm Ophelia and I'm your TikTok psychologist. I am here to generally teach you how to stop repetitive thoughts. Okay, my first question to you is, have you ever caught yourself in a loop of thoughts? I mean, like thinking one thing to the other, to and fro, up and down like a pendulum. You're just swinging by thoughts as if you're trying to make meaning of them, or you're trying to process them and have some understanding or control of your thoughts. And you spend a whole great time, just thinking about these thoughts, but you're really not making any headway. I have, of course, many times I've caught myself thinking about certain things that necessarily don't mean much. Okay, and I want to say that it is normal. Okay, psychology shows us that if you have a functioning brain, you will necessarily catch yourself thinking about these things, and they are called automatic thoughts or repetitive thoughts or even negative thoughts. Okay, they are negative thoughts if you find yourself being drained or exhausted. Okay, or you being self-critical on your life and being very hard on yourself. So when you find yourself thinking about yourself negatively like that, it means you should pause these thoughts or you should change these thoughts. That is how we need CBT to change our thought pattern. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy helps us to unlearn the negative thinking pattern and learn a positive way of approaching things in our minds. Okay, so your mind is your friend. You shouldn't fight with it, right? You shouldn't fight with it to have meaning or answers. And as human beings, we try to like get answers from our thoughts, but necessarily you can't all the time. So psychology says that you and I generate about 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Ask yourself, how many minutes is that? Just thinking, thoughts like swapping up and down, thoughts. Okay, and research shows that about like roughly about 90% of these thoughts are thoughts we had the previous day. So if we are making about 60,000 thoughts today or 80,000 thoughts today, 90% of them were thoughts we had yesterday, meaning that our minds are always in a loop. Like we can never escape these thoughts because I said we are humans, and when you have a mind or you have a brain, you would always want to process things. Okay, however, these repetitive thoughts are not so good when it comes to a point where we are being drained. Okay, and the more you have these thoughts, it simply shows that your brain is trying to understand what is going on in your life. It has not fully processed the things that really mean or matter to you. After your brain have processed these things and there's an understanding, you find yourself like drifting away from things you have understanding, you have control over. Okay, so in what way can we stop ourselves from having these repetitive thoughts? Of course, you need to know that when you think heavily about something, it means that it matters, is important to you. It needs your attention. But the question is, does every thought need our attention? Do we always have to give it our energy or our belief or judge it or try to have control over it? No. As human beings, we can't do that. So, in what way can we use CBT to help ourselves to develop positive thinking pattern? Is number one, name the thought or notice the thought. Always notice yourself spiraling in these thoughts, and instead of just allowing yourself be swept by it, what you can do is to label it that I am having these thoughts because something didn't go well at work today. All right, and then you create a tiny distance between you and the thought. So it's something like, can you distance your feeling from the thoughts? Don't personalize it. Okay, just try to understand what happened at work. Okay, try to rationalize it. Okay, maybe I made a mistake, or maybe my supervisor went overboard. Am I hurt because I was corrected or the way I was being corrected? Now, this is a rationalized person trying to understand the situation. You are not personalizing it that, and even though I made a mistake and she should have been this. No, You are trying to identify your feelings. You are removing your feelings from the situation. Number two, ask curious questions instead of reacting. Instead of saying, "Me, I always mess up. Me, I don't even get it right. Me, I can't do this." No, that is not right. What you have to do is to ask yourself, be curious. What is my brain trying to teach me? Why is my brain catching my attention on this? Curiosity shifts the nervous system from threat to safety or exploration. And anytime you're curious about something, your brain welcomes it like positively. Okay. Number three is shift the focus to the body. Sometimes you may be in a pilot mode, you're even driving and you're thinking about school, work, your children, your wife, your future, politics, entertainment, education, money, a whole lot. Right? So if you catch yourself in that pilot mode, okay, in that loop, it's just a split second for you to understand the awareness in your body. Some of the awareness in your body are like tight chest, shallow breath, clenched jaw, sweaty palms, or maybe you are losing concentration of something. What you have to do is to take a slow breath, okay? Like breathe in, out. We normally say breathe breathe in peace, exhale stress. So you breathe in peace, exhale stress, and then you do the grounding technique. There are 5, 4, 3, 2. Like, I can teach you this a different time, but you can go on ChatGPT or Google, ask and explore about grounding techniques. Okay, it will show you. And so you can do a gentle stretch if you find yourself thinking about something like a minute or two, going to 5, 10 minutes. Leave that environment. If you can take 5 steps, 10 steps to a different room, or just go grab water, or make a phone call or text or reply, it will change the nervous system. It will teach the nervous system that I am safe right now. I'm in control. Like, I can literally stop thinking about this and do what I really have to do. All right. And then set a worry window. Okay. Number four, set a worry window. 20 minutes a day in the 24 hours. I told you we generate about 60 to 80,000 thoughts. Do you know how many minutes you spend thinking? That's too much. It's so much. So you just need to set a worry window, okay? And this worry window will be helpful for you to just go through the thoughts. You just need to feel the thoughts, just without judgment. You just need to feel them without your energy, without a reaction or response, or to believe them. Sometimes it's the belief that sow the seed of the negative thoughts that brings about the unwanted feelings and behaviors. We don't want that for you. We want you to be able to control your thoughts, to emotionally, regulate your yourself, to be able to go about your day. Yeah, you can visit the thought, set the time frame, visit the thought, and allow it move about your day. All right. And this is very helpful because you just acknowledge them briefly, like briefly, just peep and then come out again. At the end of the day, it means that you can truly have control over your mind. All right. So you don't have to follow every thought that passes through your mind. I've said that already. Not every thought deserves a response. I've said that already. So repetitive thoughts feel loud, not because they are meaningful. The more you think about these thoughts, or the more you are familiar with these thoughts, doesn't mean they are true. That doesn't make them meaningful. It doesn't make them facts. They are just your feelings, and your feelings do matter, but they are not true. We always have evidence for and evidence against these thoughts. The more you work on your evidence for and against, you're able to strike a balance. So your freedom here is the striking of the balance. If you're able to get that balance for your thoughts, it means that you can thrive. All right. So the balance is to understand what these thoughts are, just visit them, and then get time to process these things at a very specific time, and then get over it. Okay, so tonight, when your mind is thinking about, is making up the 60,000 thoughts, okay, and bringing up the same story again, you can try, what if I simply notice the thoughts and then choose a better thoughts? If you find yourself thinking about a negative thoughts, okay, just notice it and then get yourself out of it by using a positive thought. Okay, ask yourself, what is my brain trying to tell me right now? I know you've learned something about it, and this is simply how to stop repetitive thoughts. If you like the content that I create, please follow me and share and comment. Have a good day. Bye. Bye.